Taction USA is your go-to source for crime scene and evidence collection supplies. Taction USA offers quality products all designed and tested by active duty first responders and investigators. With no minimum order, you can order as much or as little as you need. Ordering is fast with no hassle attached. Check out TactionUSA.com today and find the quality and quantity you need when it comes to crime scene and evidence collection supplies. That's TactionUSA.com, or look for the link in our show notes and Facebook posts.
Welcome to Crossing the Tape in the News Edition. As always, I am one of your hosts, Hillary, joined by my husband,
Brendan.
And today we're going to bring you another news story that it's a little bit, it's past a little bit, yes. But we're catching up from our holidays and our chaotic life lately. So we're going to bring you today the news story about the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas that exploded.
Yeah. So around 5.5 hours after the New Orleans attack, active Army Special Forces soldier Matthew Leibelsberger took his own life by way of a gunshot wound to the head. And this fact wouldn't become known for some time because his suicide was accompanied by a quite colorful explosion that made for a messy crime scene.
Yeah, I would not want to have to process that one.
Right. Leibelsberger had used the Turo car share app to rent a Tesla Cybertruck. And we'll get into what everyone thought was symbolism of that choice in a bit. But he drove the Cybertruck from Colorado, where he's a resident, through New Mexico, across into Nevada, stopped in front of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas, Nevada, at which point he apparently set up the car to detonate and then used the firearm on himself to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. And then the car exploded. The video is bananas.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, because I came across this story not long after it happened and the surveillance video leaked.
Right.
My first thought was it was some sort of catastrophic battery malfunction of the Tesla.
Right.
There's plenty of things you can read about.
Yeah.
Cybertruck will lock up and be ruined forever if you don't put it in car wash mode.
Right. And
allegedly.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, that these complaints people have had about little issues with the car that totally destroy it. I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to have to recall every single one.
I know. I thought
the batteries are doing that.
Well, and it's wild because it kind of imploded, but it didn't do much. You know what I mean? It kept it all contained.
Right. And interestingly, according to Tesla, Elon Musk himself, he said that it was a pretty poor choice of vehicle to do that with because the build of the Cybertruck and the materials caused the explosion to vent upwards rather than become a standard bomb.
So it kind of became a microwave.
It didn't go nuclear. It just everything just shot out the top.
Yeah. Which, if you've ever seen one of those in person, that doesn't surprise me. They look like an army tank, like a futuristic army tank. They're from Battlestar Galactica or something.
Yeah, so it mainly shot upwards, which luckily that maybe prevented anyone else from getting hurt in it.
I was thinking it probably was it was a good choice in that regard, unfortunately, because that guy was going to take his life anyway.
Right.
I hate to say it that way, but unfortunately he had made his decision. Yes. But I'm glad that it didn't affect anybody else.
Right. The hotel doors weren't even damaged, just a few feet away. This guy had parked right in the...
Oh, yeah.
Like in the valet area.
Well, yeah, and that particular location, it's right off the strip. When we go to Vegas, we can usually see it from the hotels we stay in. I mean, it's right there. And so it's, it's no wonder nobody else got hurt, and it's a good thing, they didn't.
Yes. The ATF was surprised by the sophistication of the explosion. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure how he set it up, but I know there were fireworks involved.
Yeah, that's all I have found about it.
Which, I guess, if you want to make a spectacle and to make a statement,
Yeah.
the explosion was very colorful. There's reds and yellows and blues and things sparkling and
it's
crackling every which way.
And again, it's a good thing it was the Tesla, because otherwise, can you imagine if a whole ton of fireworks? What if there were bottle rockets in there and they just went out all over, and
through windows and other vehicles?
That hotel is a little like, it's not like on the strip of Las Vegas, but it's right there. And the proximity, if there were enough fireworks and a different vehicle, it might have been a much different story.
Right. The remains of the driver were burned beyond recognition, but some tattoos and IDs found in the vehicle indicated that it was Leibelsberger.
Yeah, they were. When they released his name at first, they weren't even officially sure, but they were sure enough because those tattoos were pretty personalized.
Yeah. And using that car share app, of course, once they had got a good ID on the vehicle,
right,
they were able to start backtracking who had rented this thing and
that poor app,
where they had gone. I know.
There's 2 vehicles now that have been associated with incidents of tragedy, and it's not the app's. It's not their fault,
But it's not a good look.
No, unfortunately it isn't.
If you want to commit an act of domestic terrorism...
Yeah, no, please don't.
No.
Don't do any of that.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for them. They're going to be spending some time scrubbing the stench of these
I
events.
know. I feel bad for them because it isn't their fault, but
I still don't like the app, but...
Yeah.
I don't like the idea. For this very reason.
I don't like the concept, but it's not their fault that these 2 made those choices.
No. Leibelsberger served in the Green Berets, very highly trained, served in the Army since 2006, spent quite a bit of time overseas.
So still active duty.
Yes. And sounds like a dude you don't want to cross.
Right.
He was awarded a total of 5 Bronze Stars.
Wow.
Including one for courage under fire. So he's very serious.
Yeah.
He's seen some stuff. Not simply a guy who joined up, did a little time, and moved on.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, very decorated. He rented the vehicle in Denver, drove it through New Mexico, as I said, stopped at the Trump Tower around 7:30, and detonated there.
In the morning. It was the morning.
Yes, 7:30 a.m., January 1st. Detonated there after the gunshot wound. His friends and family, as we see a lot, very surprised.
Yeah.
Just shocked. He's a normal, even-keeled guy.
Which makes me wonder if he suppressed... I mean, he must have obviously suppressed a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And didn't address things he should have to get to that point.
Right. The elephant in the room is kind of he drove an Elon Musk vehicle to a Trump location.
Right.
And was it some sort of target towards either of them or to hurt something related to them or their political affiliations?
Right. And when I first heard about it, I immediately thought it was a statement.
Yes.
Like it was a Tesla. It was in front of Trump Tower. I thought it was some sort of violent protest statement.
Right. But a little more digging into him, he seemed to, like both Trump and Elon, encouraged his fellow Americans to wake up and rally behind strong leadership.
And why on earth choose those 2 things?
That's what I'm baffled about.
Why?
I guess if he wants to draw attention and get those names in the headlines...
But it's negative attention, and he supported them. So if you supported somebody, you wouldn't want negative attention.
Right. And I'm glad he didn't take his support for that side and turn it into, I'm going to hurt the other side or attack or try to kill someone.
That's true.
It wasn't an assassination attempt on anyone.
No, it was a
big
spectacle suicide.
And
unfortunately
accompanied by him taking his own life because he thinks that the average American citizen needs to get their act together and stand behind strong leaders. I just don't know that that's the way that I would make that statement.
No, and it to me seems so inside out.
Yes.
You know,
we don't know what he was dealing with.
You know, even when all this came out, Elon Musk had to put out a statement that they did investigate, and it wasn't the vehicle, because obviously that's what your first reaction was.
Right. Oh man, those things are time bombs.
So if he was a supporter, he made for a minute he made him look maybe bad because of that. So I don't understand at all. And then unless his thing was like, well, maybe more people will, at least for sitting in front of Trump Tower, maybe his thought was, well, maybe more people will stay here now because this happened in front of it. Right. But what kind of sordid idea is that?
Hard to put together his thought process, and with all of his military experience, and active combat experience, we don't know what else he was dealing with or why. He deep down thought the best way to open people's eyes was with this.
Which is very sad, given his background, and it makes me empathize, for his family.
Right.
That,
he's a guy who should be shaking hands and having people buy him beers for what he's done. Not coming to this.
Right. Which, again, goes to show we don't know what somebody's thinking, and that, it's important to take any kind of suicidal thoughts seriously.
Yes.
Because it's unfortunate that someone of his valor, it ended like this.
Right. And another interesting note, we knew that the continued implementation of artificial intelligence was probably going to be the fall of humanity.
Yeah. At least the fall of our brain power, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, maybe that's a stretch, but this attack was reportedly... He used ChatGPT to help plan it, which, from my understanding, apps like that use information that's already available online, and then compiles
it into whatever your topic is.
Right, thought process or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I guess that information was out there, but if he asked the artificial intelligence to, hey, plan a way to blow up a car, and it gave him apparently effective results.
I know. That's a bit scary.
Now that's another thing that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
What people are going to use that for that is actually going to net them the outcome they're looking for. Which
is scary.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it could be... Anything could be used for good or evil, but it's a bit scary that it was so effective, right. And maybe
it gave him an answer, and off he went.
Yeah.
So, next time around, we're gonna have a little fun with our main story. Well, it's not fun. There's still, I believe, there's some deaths, but
okay, but it's not quite so dark as some of these.
It's not so grim, and it will come to you 100% free of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And maybe free of regular intelligence. No, we're pretty good. But we thank you for joining us on this installment of In the News.
Yes. Stay safe.
And so long. Due to the array of duties officers must carry out, comfortable, reliable footwear is paramount, and not just any old boot will do. Officers must be able to count on their boots to appear professional and perform at a high level regardless of the task at hand. 511's 8-inch AT AR670-1 boots meet all of these neat criteria and more. Featuring the all-terrain load assistance system as well as ortholite footbeds, you'll know the meaning of the word comfort each time you put them on. This soft padding allows officers to endure long shifts without fatigue, sweat, or discomfort. You'll also find the added confidence in your step not only because of the sharp appearance of these boots, but because of the highly adaptive soles. Slip-resistant and traction-focused, the AR6701 boots are designed to help you go anywhere you need to with ease. Additionally, these boots are compliant with U.S. Army uniform regulations. I've worn 511 AT boots for years, and can tell you from experience they will never disappoint. Get your AR670-1 boots or any other high-quality AT boots from 511 today.